Yeah. So welcome to today's class. So today we are going to discuss about Spring Boot application with the static DB. So before going to the actual database, we are discussing about the static DB. Why? Because if you want to go actual database, we need to talk about the Spring data, right? So we are going step by step. So today we are going to discuss about only Spring Boot application, how we can define a Spring Boot application with auto configurations. As part of yesterday class, we discussed about a sample Spring Boot. Of course, we discussed about Spring MVC flow. After that, we did a small sample application using Spring MVC. As part of that, we did configuration web.xml, we did configuration servlet.xml, we did configuration for loading all our Spring components or our application components, right? So, and also we configured external Tomcat server to deploy our application, right? So those that much of manual configurations we did as part of Spring MVC flow or Spring application, right? Now we entering into the Spring Boot application. So Spring Boot is nothing but it is also a family of Spring. Spring Boot is a module on top of or within the Spring framework. So using Spring Boot, we can develop a production ready application. Why I'm saying a production ready application? So it will give more flexibility to you to to configure all the components. Like we don't want to configure any XML file or web.xml kind of things. We no need to configure it, which means we no need to configure. Spring Boot will take care internally by enabling auto configurations. Okay, that is one thing. And also whatever we are adding a dependencies, so if it is a Spring Boot, so normal Spring application, you need to go to Maven repository from via Google, and you need to take the respective dependency how we take in yesterday class, right? Spring web MVC dependency we taken and we added in our pom.xml, right? So we no need to go for the Maven repository. We don't want to take any kind of dependencies from Maven repository. So Spring Boot is coming with a list of starters, a starter projects. So each and every dependency they created in one artifact, which means one service, right? So like that, whenever we are developing a Spring Boot application, whatever the starter you want, you can add initially. Automatically, it will come and configured into the your pom.xml. So like that, Spring Boot application was developed, and also whatever the external server we configured in as part of Spring MVC. So we no need to configure any external server to deploy our application. Here, whatever we have a web starter or web dependency. So including that inside WebMVC or inside WebMVC starter or inside web starter, the embedded Tomcat server is coming with the Spring Boot. Okay, so whenever you are running a simple, you no need to run on server, something like that. Simple right click on the Spring Boot project and click run as a Java application or run as a Spring Boot application, right? So it will automatically create your WAR file or jar file. It will create a jar file. It will deploy embedded Tomcat server. We can test our application, right? So such kind of offers are providing Spring Boot. So that is the reason only we call it as a production ready application. Okay. So so whenever we are developing such kind of we will take employee service and employee controller, which means update employee, post employee, get employee, and delete employee. Okay, that's fine. So how these APIs are developed and this is the URI, this is the how you don't know, right? Until and unless you open the browser and until and unless you open the controller. So for that purpose only yesterday we discussed, we need to document our all APIs. For example, Adan or Omar is developed a Spring Boot application, and Estbin is going to test that application, but Estbin don't know, right? So you need to know, you need to open the controller either, or you need to open the document. So for that purpose only, we are creating a document using Swagger of OpenAPI specifications. So OpenAPI specifications are nothing but on top of Swagger, OpenAPI specifications created a wrapper. So using that configuration, we can have this kind of user interface, so that we will know whenever we are opening our application via browser, we will know all APIs will be appear like this, right? So that is what we are going to see now. So first of all, the main motto is to how to configure a Spring Boot application, and how to configure a open API, and how to test the APIs. So that is what today's class. So tomorrow's class we will replace this database with the real-time databases. So now I am taking as a static DB, which means a static DB inside the application, which means we can create a map. So using map, we can save and get, right? Map, in the map we can say, we can put the key value pairs, and we can get the key value pairs by passing key, right? So like that map we are using we are going to use as a static DB as of now. So let me share my Eclipse. Okay, so now you understand what is the today motto of class.
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, fine. So we don't want to go hurry burry, so we will go step by step. So which will which will give the a more clarity what we are doing every day. Okay, that's fine. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So yesterday we did Spring project, Spring MVC service. Okay, so here we can do two ways of we can create. So here file, so new, right? So STS, so whenever we are having this STS Spring tool site, so it will directly give the Spring Boot Spring Starter project. Why? Because every dependency we call it as a starter. So by default it will give. Otherwise you can go to Maven project and you can create. So that is one part. Or otherwise you can go to browser. I will show you. Let me share browser. You can go to browser. Sorry. Okay, browser. So you can open Google and Spring Initializer. Spring.io. Okay. So you can open Spring Initializer, and now you can create here your project and you can download. Okay, you can generate whenever you're generating the download, right? It will come. So you can give the Maven project, and Spring Boot version automatically it will take latest version of Spring Boot, and this is the language Java. Okay, so version of by default it is selected Java 11. You can select 11. So right. So sorry, 8. Okay, so you can give your com.xml, sorry, your com dot whatever we are going to give our group package, and artifact yesterday I said, right? So like that, now you can add here your dependencies. So whenever you are clicking your dependencies, it will come here. So add your dependencies, you can type here web. So web dependency is nothing but it will add here. So right. So build web include RESTful applications using Spring MVC, which means internally we are using Spring MVC for Spring MVC architecture only, but it is a RESTful application. Okay, using Spring Boot. So uses the Apache Tomcat as a default embedded container. So this is what I said. So web starter is coming as a Tomcat server, default Tomcat embedded container, right? So we can use this web dependency. So like that we can give. So generate. So whenever you are generating, it will download like this. Okay, it will download like this. You can upload. So come here and go to file. You can import. You can browse your browse project. Okay, whenever you are importing, you can browse. Okay, you can browse what is the Java project. Okay, Maven project, you can existing Maven project. Okay, like that you can browse. Okay, it will ask your computer and you can browse, right? So like that. The second way of creating, you can directly creating here, no need to download and no need to browse all the things. So it will come here. So you can give the name here. It will same demo.example com.example, it will come like this only. So here it is also taking Spring Initializer only, the URL, your it is also referring Spring Initializer only here, right? So not demo. So our project is 2022 hyphen project hyphen Spring Boot. Spring Boot hyphen static DB hyphen service or microservice, whatever you want, you can write microservice. So I given a project name, that is fine. So here you can select Java 11, whatever in my system I installed Java 8 only, so that is the reason only I selected Java 8. So now you can give the I already told you. So first two classes I will go manually by writing one by one. Once you entered into the Spring Boot, the second level onwards, the third level onwards, I can directly open the project. I can explain. But initial stages, I will go manually one by one. Okay. Com dot vkakala dot group 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 h dot group h. This is the our group package. Okay. So you can give the package same package name also. So this is the okay, fine, version snapshot. So this is the group package. We are also giving the same package here. So artifact is the our application name. So right. So version by default it will take 001 snapshot. That's fine. So I'm going to next. Now here you can select the starters. So what starter we need? Simple web starter is enough for this class. So whenever you are saying a web, so Spring Web, right? You can select. So different uh, starters are there. We will talk next level. So I'm finishing. So it is preparing project here. Okay. So once it is preparing, the default folder structure which will come. So we will create whatever the steps we needed. Okay, fine. So and also so we forget to add OpenAPI, right? I think we need to add OpenAPI. Okay, no issue. We will add. So okay, still it is. Give me a few minutes. It is building the application. It is coming here. Okay, so 26%. It is still coming. Give me a few minutes. So like that, we can initiate to create a project like that. So once it is done, so we will see how we can develop the rest of the things. Okay, fine. So okay, fine. So now the project is ready. So if you see here, this is the folder structure. So this is the folder structure. Open form.xml. See that it is coming here. So we need one more dependency called OpenAPI dependency. Why? Because here we are discussing about OpenAPI specifications, right? So we need to take the OpenAPI dependency and we need to add and go to Google and take the OpenAPI dependency. I already taken OpenAPI specifications. I'm adding here. Okay, I'm adding here. So I'm adding here. So this is the Spring Doc only, Spring OpenAPI UI. OpenAPI means our API specifications. UI means our dashboard for our application. Okay. So it will provide two things. One is we can document using OpenAPI, and also it will provide the UI for testing our application. You no need to go for a Postman. You no need to go for a SOAP UI to test our application. We can use this OpenAPI specifications and it will provide our user interface. Okay, that's fine. So now everything is ready. No need to go for any configurations. So other than pom.xml, we don't have any configurations files. Okay, fine. So here the default package also it is coming here. So if you see here Spring Boot application. So if you see here at the rate Spring Boot application, it is a combination of this many annotations. Okay, this many annotations. So this is the main heart of the application. This is the main class of the application. So here, here you can see here main method is there. So right, in a Java application, if you want to run your application, you need a main class, right. So here it will run Spring application dot run application dot class. So whatever the application we are taking, you can change your name, no issue, right. Like that. So it is a combination of Spring Boot configuration. It will do the configuration, enable auto configuration, which means automatically this configured web.xml, it is automatically configured, and the component, and you will it will read automatically all the components of your class. Okay. And component scan in the sense, you don't need to add application server.xml, and you don't need to add all the tags there. It will automatically scan all the components of your classes. Components means your classes of your application, right. It is a combination of main three annotations. One is the Spring Boot configurations. Okay. Enable auto configurations and component scan. That's fine. So now you can change this. You can change this as a application. This is the main application, right? So this is the application layer or application uh, package. Okay. And add sorry, new package. So here I am adding controller, next level controller, right? controller, and we need for employee service, we are going to do the employee service, right? And also we need model, which means employee object model. Okay, so employee model, and we need, of course, we need services to write service class, service package, service. Of course, we have a sorry, spelling mistake. So service. Okay. Next, service IMPL. So interfaces and implemented classes. That's fine. So now we have a different packages for our application. Now you can create a first of all come from back. So employee model. So employee. So just employee class I created. Employee class I created where we can write all our variables, right? So you can give the private string, so like that we can write. So I already have that variables, no need to wait. Wherever I want to copy, I will copy here. So employee ID is the I am taking, and the employee name and address and phone number. So I taken four variables. Okay, four variables or four fields or four. Okay, fine. I'm having a setters and getters here. Setters and getters to hold the employee data. Okay, as we know, right? So whenever you are debugging, if you want to see the values also, you can add toString here if it is required. So generate a toString. So I'm generating a toString also here. Fine. Instead of object, it will appear as the values. Fine. So now employee service. Now employee service. Service is nothing but an interface. Okay. So I'm notating I employee service. Okay. I notated means interface. Employee service. So by seeing this employee service, you can know what are the operations we are going to do. Okay, what are the operations we are going to do? All four kind of operations. What are the four kind of operations? Public void create employee. Create employee we are doing, right? So create employee means we are saving an employee in a database, right? So what we need, obviously employee object we need, right? So that is the reason only I created a first employee. Here we need, right? So we are coming from backside, no issue. So next, so get employee, right? I'm copying this, but for get employee, I'm adding a return type as save. We don't need to have any return type, right here. So here employee, get employee means here string employee ID. That's fine. So here instead of create, here we're having get employee. The same update employee, right? Update employee. Update employee also, if you want to see what is updating, you can return update employee. So again, you need to pass employee object here for update employee, right? So like that, and whatever we are having the delete employee, we can write here. We need to pass right. No need to write any return type here. So delete employee. So here, by seeing this interface, by seeing this service, instead of interface, we can call it as a service, employee service. Okay. By seeing this service, you know, right? So create employees will be happens, get employee will be happens, update employee will be happens, and delete employee will be happens. So right. So this is an interface. Interface. By seeing an interface, we can know what are the operations are going to perform. Okay, perform. So now you can write service IMPL to implement the all these operations. Okay, so I'm writing a class. That class is nothing but employee service. Directly I'm giving class employee service, right? I'm giving, I'm not notating any I here. This is a class, right? So you can add interface here. If you know the interface, you can add here. So I'm adding I employee, whatever the employee service is there inside our application, it will come automatically, right? I'm adding here. So I'm finishing. So see, this is what it is implementing I-employee interface. Our class is implementing our employee service, and it is already provided by all the implemented methods. You need to provide a implementation here, right? That's fine. So now you can create a map here. You can create a map here to provide, okay, to provide. Okay, let me create map. Of course, it is expecting. Okay, so I created a hash map, right? So what is this ID? This ID is nothing but employee ID. Employee ID. So this is the employee ID we are going to save. Why? Because employee ID will be the unique. And what is the value? Entire employee object we are saving into the map, which means so we can by passing employee ID we can get the employee value. So like that I created a static DB or static map. Okay, so we can use here. So now before saving into the employee, you can have some static block, and you can put the values here. So like that. So instead of static DB, you can put here. So when our application is running, right, automatically static blocks will be executed before calling any method, right? We know, right? That is the purpose of static block. So you can add, okay, you can add first one is the Somesh and Bangalore, uh, India. So Bangalore, India, and this is the phone number, and this is the ID. Okay, ID and value. So here up to here we created an employee object here. So here map dot put. So here we are adding here. First of all, it will take a string. String is nothing but ID. So this is the employee dot get ID. Already we are putting here. So in cases we are getting here in a save employee, right? So here we are putting, and we are adding the employee object. Total object we are adding as a value. That's fine. The default map it is coming here. So now you can put here. So the same way you can put here. So mapdb dot put employee dot get ID and employee. So this is the saving. Okay. So we are not returning anything, right? So whatever we are getting here. So get employee, right? So employee ID by passing employee ID. So you know, right? Map dot get by passing uh, employee employee emp response. Of course, it is a get, right? Response equals to, so map dot get object key. You can pass this ID. You will get the value is nothing but employee, right? So that is the reason we are equalizing here. You can return employee is expecting. You can return here, right? So this is the get employee, right? This is the get employee. So here is the update employee. You can save. You can save. So here you can save here, and you can get the same whatever you are getting here. The same employee dot get ID. You can pass the same employee. Sorry. So the same employee, whatever you are getting here, you can pass the same get emp ID. The same whatever we are updating, just you want to see. That's all, right? So now here and delete, right? So map dot How can we delete a value from map? Map.remove method is there. Okay, map.remove. So object key, you can pass. Object key is nothing but, so you can pass here. Uh, employee.get key. So map.remove. I think we can pass like this. Fine. So remove ID. ID we are nothing but we are passing a key. So automatically it will be removed. So now our implementation is ready. Implementation is ready. Now only we can go for, now service MPL is ready, model is ready. Now the controller. Now the controller. So you can write employee controller, employee controller, employee controller. So our class is ready. So here you can add REST controller. So REST controller. Okay, we are adding. So here we need to add. Here we need to add all four kind of operations first. All four kind of operations first. So here, uh, before adding here, we need to take the we need to take the. I will tell you what is the auto void. Yeah, auto void. Why? Because we need to call employee dot create employee service dot, which means employee service dot create employee, update employee, delete employee, right? Save employee, update employee, get employee. So that is the reason we need our service is depending on depending in our controller class, right? So I will tell you what is this dependency injection or what is this auto void. So once we need to write. Let me copy instead of writing. So I'm copying here. So post mapping. So I'm giving post mapping. So agar 3 are okay. So instead of employee service, we can we can put here no issue. Okay. So here post mapping in the sense post plus mapping. Okay. So it is a request mapping plus method name is a post. So it is a combination of method type as well as request mapping. So that is the reason I used here post mapping. Okay. So now you need to add. So here this is a simple method. A request body we are passing. Request body we are passing as an employee here. So whatever the create employee dot create employee service we are calling here. So response entity, why we are adding this? This is a response entity as a return type. The return type of this response entity is nothing but HTTP response entity. This is an HTTP response entity. So we are getting HTTP protocol, right? So HTTP in the HTTP protocol we are getting as a request body of HTTP protocol. So that is the reason I added as a response entity of object. Object means whether it is a list of employees or whether it is a success string, whether it is any kind of, say, whether it is a single object or whether it is a multiple objects. So we can pass directly here. We can pass directly here. So it will allow string, it will allow single object, it will allow multiple objects. All are comes under object only, right? So that is the reason in a common or in a generic way, in a best standards way, we defined our return type as a response entity of object, and whatever the response we feel for this API, we feel for this function or we feel for this API, we can return here. If you are getting a response here, you can send the response here, you can set the response here. Or if you're not having any response, it is a simple kind of success, you can send a particular message, right? Along with that, you can pass the event response or event status, right? What is this event? It is a create employee type of event. So you need to say with the success or failure message in terms of HTTP status codes, in terms of API terminology. You need to say whether it is a success or failure, right? So you need to say the status of your API. So like that we can give the same way we can give. And here I am. Now you need to add the documentation. So otherwise we will not get the these APIs are in our user interface, right? So we are adding all, right? So let me add one more API. Later I can tell you. Later I can tell you. Once I added all the APIs. So this is the get employee for get mapping. Okay. So get employee. Okay, fine. I'm putting here get employee. Okay. So employee response. So here we are getting a just now I said, right? So whatever we are getting, if you want to send a response, you can set a response here. If you want to set a response, you can set the response here. If you want to set some message, you can set like this. So it's HTTP status. Okay. So of course here we can create instead of okay, it is a created, right? So created, I think it is there. Yes, it is 201. 201 is the created. So employee created, like that we can set our respective status instead of say okay. So here we are getting response, right? Success response. So that is the reason we are saying 200 response code here. 200 response code. Okay. So like that we can set. Now get employee is done. Now we can go for the update employee. We can go for the update employee. So let me add. So later I can add, once we done, I can add our mapping, our open API specifications. So this is the update employee. Same, we are passing a request body here. So employee service dot update employee, we need to pass an employee here. So the same response. So whatever I am updating, I want to see what I updated with updated values in my user interface. So I'm sending back again that after updating, if you see here, we are updating the same employee ID we are getting from the DB, our map DB. Okay. So we are getting here. So the same response here we are getting here. That's fine. The same way, delete employee also. The same way, delete employee also. So let me add delete employee also here. So delete mapping. So delete mapping, right? So now fine. So here, so successfully deleted employee. Successfully deleted employee. But instead of this, I think we can pass 204 here. No content. After deleting, we are not having any content, right? So no content. No content status. No content status means which is a delete API response. So this is very important. No content or okay, anything. These are the two options. But we are passing some response, right? So that is the reason I added okay. But we can add no content also. After deleting, we are not having any content. So that is the reason we need to send no content. Okay, 204. That's fine. All 200 status only. Status only we are passing here. 201. Here 201. Here 200. Here 200. Here 204. 204 is the no content. Fine. So now our service is ready to run and test. But by testing, after testing, we don't have the documentation for this API, right? Now we need to add a documentation here. We need to add a documentation. So before adding documentation, you can come here, application class. You can come here. So at the rate open API specifications, at the rate open API specifications, um, open API definitions we can add. So open API, yeah, open API. If you type open API, automatically control tab, it will come. But you need to add some summary about your application. So if you see here, you are having, if you don't know what are the parameters are available in info, you can take info automatically. You can take info. It will give info of info of. So you can give info of at the rate info of title. So I already have some values. Let me copy there. After that I will tell you. Let me add those values instead of. So yes. So this is the components can also I added. So why I'm adding components can, let me tell you this configuration. So you don't need to remember all of these things. We can go for the open API specifications. It will give how to add in open info definition of your application. So info title, employee project or employee service, version, whatever we are having a snapshot, from the prompted XML description. You can give the employee service operations, okay, of your service. So terms of service, you can give some terms of your service if you have some Spring Boot application. And contact person, so contact of this application, you can give some contact related information, okay. Gmail. And license, if you want to define the license, those are optionals. You can define, you can define, no issue. And also name and license, of course you will give your website, right? So I am giving here my YouTube channel here, so my YouTube channel link. So like that, you can give any, you can define your own, right? After that, so you can copy this, you can copy this, your base package, okay, your base package. So component scan, so component scan in the sense, so if you're writing all the classes in a single API, in a single package, you don't need to define this component scan. If you are writing in a different packages, you have controller package, you have model package, you have service package, you have service IMPL package. So different level packages are there, right? So after group or common package, after your group ID, we can call it as a group ID of from our common package. So whatever we are having a common package, we can call it as a group ID. So after group ID, you have a extended folders or extended packages are there, right? Extended folders are there. Model is there, service is there, service IMPL is there, control is there, right? So if you want to scan all the components, you can give the common package here. So automatically it will be take. You can give common package or you can give common dot star. No need to give common dot star. Automatically it will take. Extended it will take. So that is the reason we need to give like this. So coming to controller, so it will scan, it will load all the components. And coming to service IMPL, so here, so if you're not defining a service here at the rate service, our Spring will not recognize, okay. Spring will not recognize. So if you want to recognize and register your service as a Spring component or service component, you need to give the at the rate service here. So that is one thing we need to know. So coming to controller, you need to define a REST controller. So then only our Spring container will recognize your class as a controller. So, right? So why we are giving a controller? So by naming conventions, you can give directly employee 1 or 1 2 3, no issue. It will act as a controller only. But if you want it is a naming convention, right? So naming, by seeing this controller, you know, right? So that is the reason we are giving as a naming controller as a employee controller. So here, what is the auto void? So auto void is nothing but Spring IOC concept. So what is mean by IOC concept? So inverse of control, inversion of control. What is mean by inversion of control? So inversion of control, inversion means reverse, right? So of control. So something is controlling reverse inversionally. So that is the reason we are calling it as a inversion of control. How it is inversion of control, we will see now. So previously, what we did before Spring in studs and servlets, here we are having service class. We cannot create a object for interface. So we are having like this, right? So from the service class, we are directly calling here, of course, statement. Okay, fine. So here calling here, if you are having 100, which means you are creating an object of your service, which means the controlling of creating an object of your service is having you only, which means developer, which means programmer, right? So you are having the controller. Controller is in your hand to create object for your services. So that is what this is what happens earlier days. So this is tightly coupling. For example, if you are running an application, whenever you are running an application, object will be created and memory will be allocated for this object, okay, whenever you're creating. So this is not creating it dynamically. This is lazy creating, which means early creating, right? So in early initialization. So whether you are calling this employee service or not, whether you are calling this API or not, unnecessarily objects will be created. If you are having 100 services, 100 objects will be created, 100 for the memory will be allocated for 100 objects, right? So this is what boilerplate kind of code. This is what tightly coupling, right? To avoid such kind of things, Spring IOC came into the picture. Spring IOC came into the picture. Hey, developer, you don't want to create. You don't worry about the creating of your objects of your components of or your services. I am there to create a object for those. You can provide me. You can delegate me that option. You can delegate me that chance. You can delegate me that power by auto wide. By auto wide. Auto wide means we are wiring, we are connecting, we are injecting here, right? So that is the reason it is called injecting, means dependency injection. Why? This is a dependency here. We are, this controller is depending on this service. Why? Because we are calling this each and every API from this controller. So that is the reason we are injected here by wiring, auto wide, right? So that is the reason it is called as a dependency injection. We are injecting, right? So that is the called it as a dependency injection. And also we can call it as an inversion of control. So previously controller is in our hand to create an object. Now the controller is completely inversed. It is taken by the Spring container. So that is the reason it is called as a inversion of control. The control is completely taken by the Spring container, right? So whenever we are calling this service, then only it will create an object for this dynamically. That is taken care by the Spring container. Are you clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Now the last phase of this service, we need to provide a, of course we are giving the definition of here, but we need to provide each and every operation, API operation. We need to tell as in terms of open API specifications. So here we have a at the rate operation, at the rate operation. So in here at the rate operation, here you can say if you control tab, if you click here, so many parameters are coming. So summary of this. What is the summary? Create employee API, right? Save employee or create employee. So this is our summary of this API. And after notes, you can give the notes of this API. What we are taking here, our notes are description. Okay, notes are description. So description, we can give the description here. I already copied this. Okay, description. Okay, like that, save employee into database. Of course, this is what happens, right? So after that API and also like this, we can also like the API operation. Like remaining operations also you can give. Like what is the remaining operations? This is what a summary of this API, right? You can provide success and failure responses also. So one more, API responses is there. API responses is the parent and API response is the child. So here you can give the responses, all responses. So here, if you see here, I'm maximizing this class. If you see here, API responses, response code 201, description, created employee into database. This is one type of API operation. Content is the application by JSON. And you can give one more response. Response code is the 400 if it is a bad request. Description type is the bad request. So like that, whatever the possible scenarios of your around your API, you can define all API response inside the responses. Okay, you can define, which means you are documenting of your API. You are creating a document for your API using this open API, Swagger open API. See, internally it is using Swagger only, right? Open API specifications. Okay, operation, content, and response body, API response and responses. Okay, all you are giving. So like that, we need to add for all for get employee, all kind of operations, right? So get employee, you can add simple. I am adding descriptions. You can add whenever you are doing the practice. Okay, just I am adding summary, get employee for the database. Okay, so next update employee for the database. Next update employee, which means put summary, update employee, and update employee into the database. Okay, next one is the delete employee for the database. So let me add. Okay, sorry, I'm saving. Now I am running my application. How can I run? So simply you can run, you can do here right click on this project, run as a Java application you can run. It is a default option. It will show for the each and every IDE, whether it is a IntelliJ, whether it is an Eclipse, whether it is an STS. For STS, it will show Spring Boot application. Why? Because this is a Spring related tool, right? So it will show Spring Boot application. Okay. So now, first of all, you can do the Maven clean. So Maven clean in the sense it will clean the and it will do the build success. Now you can do the let me delete this testing test related uh, components. Why? Because we are not providing any test classes, right? So here I'm doing run as install. Install means it will do the clean install. So now it will check the class path and all. It is properly setting or not, properly added or not. So what it is providing, no compiler provided this environment perhaps running JRE instead of rather than JDK. So by default it is setting as a JRE. You need JDK class path. So that is what it is saying, right? So JRE will not have a compiler. In JDK we will have JRE plus compilers, right? So we need to set the JDK. So right click on this properties, go to properties, and here the build path. So in the build path you can select the Maven dependencies and libraries. You can come here, you can edit here, by default it is showing JRE only. So install JRE. This is also JRE only. So go to install JRE. So by default it is selected as a JRE from your local. You can add standard virtual machine. You can add, go to directory. So it will come C drive. It will come C drive. So program files, Java, JDK. You can select JDK. Okay. So whenever you're saving, finish. Yeah. So you can select the JDK. No need to delete. Automatically it will disable. And I'm adding. Okay. So now you can see here JDK is also there. Now you can select and finish. Okay. Apply. Now you can come here, project facts, which means the type of your Java, version of your Java you need to select here. So 1.8 it is there. If you have more than 1.8, you can select your respective version and apply and close. Now this time we are not expecting this error, definitely. So install. So it should be installed and it should be downloaded, whatever the requirement jar files and all. See, it is downloading, right? Spring Boot, web, all the remaining are downloaded and it is build success. Now you can run. So here you can provide, by default it will take proper application dot property file. It will take 8080. Now you can run server dot port. So application dot property file we can define server dot port 2022. I'm adding as a 2022. Why? Because we are entering into 22 in uh, in 15 days, right? So in 15 days, not 15 days. I think 10 days. So 6 or 7 days. Fine. So 2022 is the port number. We can change project to project. Now I am running now. I'm running Spring Boot application. Okay. Now it will add and it will run. So if you see here, see, application is started, port number 2022 Tomcat. So if it is not giving if you are not providing the port number, by default it will take 8080. That's all. So now you can open. I'm opening the browser. I'm opening the browser. So here http:// localhost 2022 swagger-ui.html. So that is the URL of Swagger. You need to give this URL, swagger-ui.html. I'm clicking this. See. So let me. Okay, fine. So you are able to see the screen, right? Hello.
Yes.
Right.
So our description, whatever you are giving a description, employee project. So this is what we given our main employee class. If you see here, here you given the title of your project, employee project. So that is what here we are getting, employee project. And the docs, you can open the new URL, API docs. See, employee project description, employee service operations, terms and conditions, it is coming. And contact, the contact details, it is coming. License details, it is coming. Version of your application, it is coming. services, servers. This is the URL of this service. Okay, the default service, the default or basic URL, right? And paths, employee put operation is there. Okay, in employee controller, summaries. So update employee into this is the description, this is the operation ID, which means URI, right? The response body, it is coming like that reference, right? So it is a JSON, right? The response 200, some object 200, if it is okay, we are getting a type of object. Why? Because we are returning the employee object here. The post operation, post operation, it is giving a save employee. So like description, operation ID, your body, request body, it is a kind of request body. Like that, it is a kind of responses. If it is a 200, you are getting empty JSON, which we are passing as a string, right? So this is empty JSON. So created employee into database. So like that, it will show each and every operation of your object. So and also it will show you the model, whatever you have, a model, employee model, we have employee ID, name, address, and phone, right? So based on this, you can prepare your request. Okay, you can prepare your request. So this is what our documentation for our Spring Boot microservice. And also we already discussed about all our configurations. So now we can do the operations. Now we can do the operations. So Swagger, it will give the default JSON also tryout. So you can click the tryout here, you can click the cancel, and you can click the tryout. So it will come here. So I am giving 101, already 100 is there, name Vikakarla, and address. So HYD Hyderabad, India. So I'm giving phone number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So right, just I'm executing. So successfully created employee, right? So in our map, it is adding to second level element. So now if you want to get that element, if you now two elements are there. One is the tryout. So one is the 100 and one is the 101. So let me take the 101 first. I'm executing. So we are getting 100. The first object, this is what we have map, right? So I'm adding 101 here. Just I'm adding 101. Recent object I need to get. Of course, we will. Where is this? 101. What is the we given here? 101. We are not getting response body. So let me run in a debug mode. Very good. We are not getting. We did some wrong here. That we will check. In a debug mode, I am running. So employee controller, get employee path variable. So I'm adding here. I'm going here. So map dot get. So here we need to send instead of send map dot get, right? So I think here we need to, it is a map, right? So get ID. Okay, let me check why we are not getting. So it is running in debug mode. So I'm executing this. I'm coming here. Okay. So here it is coming. So whatever we are passing, 101 it is coming. So let it go to here. So I'm putting here. Just I want to check next level resume. So it is coming here. See, instead of whether we are getting 101. So map, how many objects are there? Only one object is there, right? So okay, only one object is there. So that is the reason we are not getting. So that's fine. So we are not getting, right? So let me create the same. So why we are not getting Vikakarla, right? So let me put the, let me save. Oh, get employee ID, and we are putting key and value, right? So I think we need to correct, put employee correct. So let me check. I think it should be executed. So here we are getting, why we are getting employee null. So this is what we need to see. So okay, here we are getting employee as a null. So let me check. Let me check. We already did, right? So somewhere we missed. So let me check that. So here we are getting null. Okay, that's fine. No issue. So this is what we created here. So here we created a new employee. Uh, that is okay. Think, do we need to create a
What about the controller?
controller? Yeah, I'm going to the controller. So employee controller, REST controller only. So here service dot create employee. We are passing here only. Let me run again. So I think it should pass. Why we are not getting? So let me stop. So I'm giving here. So it is coming. Oh, why it is coming directly here? Create employee. So I need to check the employee from where it is coming. Model.employee group H only. Okay, let me check one more time. So here also we are getting null. Why we are getting null? So request body, correct. See the request body. This is the what? This is what wrong. We here we added. See, this request body is correct. Request body is added from the Swagger. So Spring does not know what is the request body of the Swagger. So request body of, if it is a Spring annotation, it will recognize. So this is what it is wrong here. Very good. So sometimes it's good. So now you need to download request body of Spring annotation. Then only it will bind. Then only it will bind your employee to your class. Otherwise it will not. So whenever we are importing a statements, we need to make sure we are importing in a correct statements. Now it is a request body of Spring annotation. So it will bind. It will bind your data to the this application or this controller. Okay. Now you can see. So we did correctly, but import is coming in a wrong way. See, here we are getting values. So simple, very, very simple. But we need to make sure while importing each and everything, while using the all the annotations, which should be in a Spring framework only. If it is by default, it is coming in other uh, jar file or other library, it will be it will not work as expected. That is what we saw, right? So and you can execute, no issue. Now we are having created employee. So now you can see. Let me disable this one. Let me disable debug. Now you can get employee. You can see here 101. So now you are getting here. So this is what you are getting here. Now update employee. The same we can pass to the update employee. So here try out, and we are updating here. So you don't need to update the employee ID. You can update something. You can update. Just you need to check whether it is updating or not. Okay. Yeah. Right. Just I am executing. So it is updating. It is updating and it is coming as a response. Okay. So this is the call URL of our application. So this is the updating. So which means it is updating. So if you see here, get employee, the same get employee, it will come updated data. So it is coming as a updated data. Now I want to check the delete data. Now I want to check the delete operation. So remaining all are same, no issue. Remaining all are same, executed. So this is what executed. So now you can get here 100, 101. Check whether we are able to get or not. We are not getting. We are not getting as a response, empty response you are getting. Even though it is their object, even though it is there, it is deleted from the map, right? Initially it will load, but it is deleted dynamically. So that is the reason we are not getting response here. So this is what a CRUD operations related to Spring Boot application. So this is what a Spring Boot configuration. This is what a OpenAPI configuration, right? Using static DB. I think you people are understanding in a correct way. We discussed about Spring Boot configuration. We discussed about OpenAPI specifications. We discussed about um, all APIs and API documentation. We discussed about the main concept of Spring dependency injection or inversion of controller, right? We covered all initial steps for a Spring Boot application. The next level, we are going to do the same operations using, instead of static DB, we are going to use the Spring data as well as H2 database we are using initially. Later, we can jumping into the MySQL and MongoDB. One by one, we are stepping into the next level. So from tomorrow onwards, I will directly open the project and I will explain. From today till today, I written manually to understanding the things in a step by step. Got it?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, friends. I will provide the this video as well as project and code in very soon. Okay. Thanks for your time. We will meet tomorrow's class. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Right. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.